Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Ahn Rho Project. This is a psychiatric self-therapeutic multimedia project to solve the problems, challenges, and obstacles in our lives, as well as the self-improvement process to reach the high goals and ambitions that we have set for ourselves, as well as those around us. If you like a brief introduction, brief summary as to how we break down the Ahn Rho Project, the domains of life, sub-series analogies, so on and so forth, including the copyright-free music, live stream schedule, and how we did it 15-minute live stream into 3 phases, 11 segments, and so on and so forth. Please check out the previous live streams for past 3.5 years to January 2021 and beyond for more updated versions. And with that being said, let's cover into the second segment today, which is, as usual, the first thing: solve a pipe, override a rule to break all other rules, a system principle to free myself from the system and be purely practical and get whatever most urgently needs done. And secondly, if you want to skip even this abridged introduction, you can just fast forward this video on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, where you're coming from, as a video on demand of VOD by about a minute to a minute and a half, and then you dive right into the content, which is beginning right now, which is what you see on the screen. So what you see is what you get as usual. On the top, we have a lot of phase 2 items, so digital, non-tangible, more abstract things like photography. Within that, it's like commentary, storytelling, and stuff like to do with nutrition, food that we have actually captured a little bit of, as well as, for the most part today, residential stuff having to do with furniture, equipment, and how we've organized and managed the entire room. Home renovation, in a sense, is the post coverage of the entire room as it's completely re-renovated, rearranged. And then, of course, at the very bottom is phase 3, when we actually get physical, is tangible, is concrete, and we're going to be walking around doing the most physically active, engaging part of the stream. That being said, let's showcase the collage one by one, and then we'll go through these photographs one at a time. So right here we have, of course, the different regions of the room, from region A through G, and we're going to be renaming them as sections, 65 sections, so A 1 through 9, G 1 through 4, so all that kind of stuff. We're going to be reorienting. You can see the shelving unit, you can see the closet, you see the walls and the security cams, as well as at the very bottom there's a lot of clothing, laundry, books, sanitation equipment, and so on and so forth, the electronics, the office region, regions A, B, C, all the way through. And of course, that's the main highlight of today's live stream as we mix that in with phase 3. And we also have here in phase 2, which is what we're going to cover before we get into phase 3, a bunch of this digital stuff having to do with, particularly, it looks like a lot to do with social media in this particular case, because it's directly related to managing relations on the channel and the project itself, which is what you're watching right now. I already taught us to do some comments that I left over, and I got some notifications. So very simple, basic things that are just a little bit lighthearted in nature. Same thing with Cora. Someone liked the comment here and there. Just want to check out what it was. And then at the very bottom, we have a lot to do with a little bit of garbage I received from the Wendy's and the purchase for dinner yesterday. I made a live stream yesterday, which is unorthodox, not supposed to be, but recently I have been off schedule. So we'll be covering the garbage a little bit, and then we're going to go out for work out of this live stream. At the very bottom right, we do have a bunch of more text-related things having to do with notifications. We're talking about government accounts, as well as updating a task list, and philosophy, as usual, a little bit of education. Alright, so let's dive into the content. Let's begin with, I guess, the philosophical stuff. Because actually we would usually start with segment 4 or 5, but relationships and media assets have been covered in yesterday's live stream, like I said, unorthodox, but whatever. So let's move on. Daily Philosopher, segment 6 instead of 4 or 5. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy, by Marcus Aurelius. I would say, I agree, but at the same time, I think that sometimes you have to become a bigger monster than your monsters. It is an inevitable fact of life that you will encounter evil, and sometimes you have to do things that will look at least be perceived as evil. The fact is, you will have to dirty your hands once in a while in order just to survive, and just to not just survive, but to make for a better future. And that's not something that is encouraged at all. I don't want to encourage that, but that is the uncensored truth. That's unfortunate. Regardless, in an ideal world, I would love to do this as well, and I try to practice this on the daily basis, because usually we don't encounter situations where we have to dirty our hands very often, unless you encounter things like psychopathy and narcissism and sociopathy, the dark triad, tetra, sadism, so crime, stuff like that. Moving on, we have another media asset here. This one is our updated list. I want to take a capture shot of this, having to do with task list, like I said. This actually does have to do with segment 4. This is media asset here, and updated here the government account, as well as having to get Quora notifications, as well as getting back to my cousin on LinkedIn about her group that she wanted to wanted me to take a note of. And I have been trying to get to that for almost a couple months now. I just don't want to add something onto my plate when I was really busy at that particular time. So that's something else that I had to mention. I updated the task list, and so here's the service government accounts notification saying that my account will be deleted the next 30 days if I don't log in. I gotta get that shit sorted out. That's important. Also, most likely I'll have to do a dental appointment, so maybe I can expect that coming up in the next couple live streams. I'll probably make a phone call and schedule an appointment with my dentist. Alright, so here's the notification once again. And then we're moving on to a little bit of, here's Quora. What are the most terrifying displays of intelligence by animals? What else? What events broke the internet? So a lot of just Quora, just interesting stuff. I got some notifications. Over here, some stuff on the feed. Just kind of thing that came from genetics, nothing wrong with it. But this person commenting on people being hypocritical. And so one day she made a comment how a larger girl walked by, something along those lines, how can someone allow themselves to get so fat? And then at the same time she said maybe she eats entire boxes of Oreos in one sitting, just like you don't eat anything in one sitting. So we laughed it off, but the point was obvious. The skinny girls didn't earn her body, she's born genetics and blah blah blah. And so the point is, this person really made a post they're going in on hypocrisy and so on and so on. And on this one here we have Quora. What do the Afghan people think about the Taliban? So this has to do with politics now. Living in Afghanistan under the control umbrella of Taliban is catastrophic. Again, the telling of someone here over on Quora once again. Overall, to the side, we move on to again, if you have your own particular opinion about that, I'm not going to chime in on that, right? You can just figure it out on your own. Go to that link on Quora and whatever. Over here we have some comments I received from YouTube. So this one has to do with narcissism, not politics. This is relationships. So my parents are both narcissists. My father is a malignant narcissist, although my mother is a covert. What a couple, nightmare to live with. I understand it completely because I have a very similar situation with my own biological parents. So right here it expands more. I had to be a dad and my mom to my siblings. I'll finish college by working part-time, moved out, got jobs. Low BO demand for higher salaries, so I'll cut ties with them completely. Yeah, and thankful that they didn't become narcissistic. And of course there's a comment that kind of brought me back to it, because I said, just want to give you a huge pat on the back because it's a mortifying journey, but at least you can now focus on the positive aspects of life. So there were like 3-4 likes or receptions to that kind of particular comment that I left, and I hope that he's doing much better, or he or she's doing much better now in life, and it seems like they are. So let's cover some garbage now. I want to cover this kind of Wendy's bag. Here are some napkins and the chicken nuggets cartridge, as well as the wrapper for the bacon junior cheeseburger. So inside we have, of course, there's a shift in my voice right there, a tonal shift. Quality is a recipe by Wendy's. Getting out of that CPTSD, that hypervigilance, taking a breath. So we see in here a lot of trash, as well as basically I'm going to toss this away. So we're moving into almost phase 3. Well, actually, you know what? No, we'll stay in phase 2 for a moment. So I want to showcase this garbage here. We'll cover this in a second in the last phase of the live stream. So we have here, basically, in addition to the garbage, the home renovation. So here's region A, which is what you see in the backdrop here anyways. So here's the laptop with the papers and file documents, office region with the drinks and so on and so forth, as well as stuff that I bring on the outside, like equipment, tools. Again, on the zoom out screenshot, you can see, of course, is region A 1 through 7, 1 through 9, sorry. A very large region, because of course it's the office region with a bunch of different materials. Region G on the opposite side, which actually is the bed. 1G 1 through 4. I don't think we're gonna have that many regions now that things are also kind of sorted out. But basically, you can see right there's the bed, region G, and here's region A. Over here in the backdrop, we have what used to be region B 5 through 9. You can see all the sanitation equipment on top of books. Each book is each stack is like B1 through B5, 6, 7, 8. So again, just moving to the backdrop, you can see in the very backdrop over there, that's where region B is, B5 through 9, which we're going to change. It's not going to be named that anymore. The next to it, of course, is region D. D4, D1 through 4, a very massive region, which should be splintered up into a variety of different places if only some of this clothing was not meant to be donated, which most of it is. And so you can see there's food here, there's clothing to be washed, stuff on the floor that is usually a bit dirty, so I leave it there. So basically that kind of stuff over there, right? That's what you see in region D1 through 4. Okay, moving on, we have a region D1. We're going to focus specifically on this because it's a huge major region. You can see there's a lot of food there as well as garbage. So we're going to cover from this different angle from next to the door. And then we're going to the closet now. So if you take a look here, you can see that the closet hasn't changed much at all in terms of region C1 and C5 and 6 at the very bottom. They've largely stayed the same, actually C5 through 7. At region C1 and 2, C1 and C3 actually, you can see there's an installation of camera as well as a motion sensing light device. So there's a little bit of additions up there, which you see in the back right now. So there's the light blinking right now, as well as down there, that's region. So C1 through 7 all the way down. Okay, so we're going to backtrack a little bit. No, you know what? Let's not backtrack. Let's continue off where we are. So here's the shelving unit next to the region C, which is closet. Region F, which is basically, we are doing phase 3 right now. Obviously, I'm going to get rid of the photographs. We're merging phase 2 with phase 3. They're both the physical and the digital right now, physical and digital. So you can see region F right here. What used to be region F, again, we're going to rename all these regions here. Has a lot to do with shelving units, books, and clothing mixed together, top and bottom, as well as equipment on the very top. So if you take a look at the backdrop right here, of course, a lot of clothing, that contrast is too high. But basically the point is clothing on top, equipment on top, clothing in the middle, and books on the bottom. So a lot of kind of stuff like that. We also have right next to it the region E. Again, used to be region E. If we move it here now, you can see here it's kind of like what do you call it? It's like a whole bunch of different things, from shoes to stored books, to stored office work, paperwork, coursework from university, to devices. There's a laptop there, there's some equipment there, tools, right, hardware, stuff like that, construction stuff, as well as toys on the bottom. So it's just a big mixture of storage equipment that actually I cherish and I value, as opposed to region D4, which if I turn to the side here, actually you'll see once again region D4 stuff that is for storage to donate and give away, and same thing region B4, the books and clothing to donate away. Over here is stuff that I actually cherish in region E and F. Okay, moving off, back to, we're on backtrack now. Okay, as we move away, you see here around the room, there's this kind of laundry basket here. So you have this region, once again, region A, this is probably region, this is region B1 through 4 actually, merged in with region A7 through 8, and B 1 through 4. So you see the laundry basket there. Here's the lights, and behind, of course, the crate. So of course, if I get rid of this, you can see right there, this is region B1 through 4 up here. Of course, it's going to be renamed and changed and moved about. And finally, we make it to the office. So we can finally say we're back here again, but we have some new photographs here that I like to showcase. So obviously region A 1 through 3, 1 through 5 is kind of like the drawers at the backdrop, as well as the chair. That's kind of what I kind of designate that as region B. So you can see right here, the chair, also on the desk, and the region, the drawers, sorry. And then we also have, of course, the rest of the stuff here, which is just a different angular shot of here along the walls. So this is region A7, the backdrop of region the backdrop of region F. So the equipment and stuff like that. So if I get rid of it, you can see that's region F at the backdrop, behind region A. And then here is once again more of the clothing, region F. Here's the office region, particularly in total. A5 through 9 is what's on top of the tabletop. So you see the desk, the drinks, so like a showcase right here. The laptop, right, it's like region A5, 6 here with the bottles and the spare equipment in the backdrop. We have the drinks up here to take to work, as well as the paperwork, nutritional supplements, and all this kind of stuff to do with paperwork, mail, a lot of mail, stuff that we wear on the outside, so equipment. So that's basically how the room's kind of reoriented. And so if we take a look now, finally, we just kind of walk around the room in the last 15 seconds. Region A, B, right, and it's like E, F, C, D 1 through 4, G over here on the side. And last but not least, we can finally end the live stream, I think. Yeah, so that's it. We finally finished the entire room. Oh, one last photograph here. That's the cameras on the roof, and the ceiling. So you can see that there is some stuff actually on region G above the ceiling. So that being said,